Welcome back to Nariko Stops Yelling at Me.
Oh yeah, this game is still going.
your fault, Pedro.
Yeah, this game, like Jova said, and I've been saying it myself, this game really gets to a point where it really overstays its welcome. And even then, that welcome wasn't exactly a big welcome to begin with.
You had the chance! Why didn't you, you moron?
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, I can see what Teo means. You can tell that Tamine is trying to go for those old-fashioned 80s Conan-style movies. When it comes to the tone and everything, I just don't think he's very good at it.
And the problem is, like, well, the Conan movies did not have random sexism. Like Teo mentioned, it was about the strength of the might, essentially. My issue with them
they still have prejudice in different fashions.
Hold on, I was about to get to that, actually. Yes, there were some bouts of sexism. However, those rarely overpower the narrative here. Like, the issue I have with them randomly having sexism in this game at all is like, well, it has not really served the story at all. Like, I guess maybe the story is about how girls can rise above against it, except the bad guys even have a female general of their own, so it's not really like they're proving that much of a point.
Well, to me, it's like the bad guys are kind of doing that thing racists do, where they're like, "Oh no, I'm not racist. I have a black friend."
Not to mention, it's arguable that the female general is more treated instead in the more sexualized way, and she's viewed not just for her capabilities, but more of her body and everything. While Nariko wants to prove her might as a warrior, and again, the general theme of the game is. There's this prophecy we've established about a warrior defeating evil and bringing peace to the world. People thinking it's a certain way, but it's still possible, just even presenting in a way that people are not thinking about.
Those are interesting ideas, but at that point, you guys are pretty much playing writer for the actual writers at that point.
I want to bring up something, by the way. You'll notice that this is also because the game doesn't have a very good tutorial aspect to it. I killed that guy with just one stab, and I'm not entirely. It wasn't the typical press down and square to kill the guy while he's down. No. We've seen that animation. That animation was different. Sometimes whenever I'm doing combos, sometimes Nariko will do some kind of weird move that I don't even know how that. Wait, what did I do different? Like
also new enemy type out of nowhere, by the way.
Yeah, now we're fighting.
Kitana?
Ninja women?
Yeah, it seems like.
The devil, they do have more female mooks, actually. Huh. Never mind then, I guess they... Okay, if this is about them supposedly going, oh look, we're not sexist, I'm not seeing the narrative there.
It's more so because, it's also because the problem is that the characters are flat as pancakes. Like, Boan is not interesting, I mean, he's fun because of Andy Serkis' acting, but the character himself is about as interesting as any generic bad warlord.
And that's when he's not just being a goddamn idiot for narrative's sake. Like, let's be honest,
that too.
A lot of his plot is only happening because the villains are incredibly moronic.
Yeah.
Boan should have just killed Nariko right there and then. He should not have told her where he was keeping the sword. I don't care how cocky you are, you moron. She is the chosen one. So
it's
pretty
very
much
tropey. I think it's on the evil overlord list. I should not do this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually did mention that. And you know what? If for the sake of narrative, he has to tick some of the boxes on the overlord list, that's fine, but he doesn't have the charisma to allow someone to override.
Hold on. I'm supposed to be able to go through here, but apparently there's an invisible wall now.
No, you're supposed to go in the background.
No, I know, Teo, but I know there's more path behind that point. Why can't I go back? Why did the game put an invisible wall that allows me that forbids me from going back?
Because the gate closed.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
The section was separated with a gate similar to this one.
I guess.
Again, it probably would help if the camera would allow you to maneuver things better to see that.
Yeah, that's what what Jova said. Like, I blame this on the lack of a camera system. I want to be able to look around if I want to. Can I do that to me?
Oh snap!
That there's a bar in front of you.
Okay, can I say one thing on how this game handles the PTSD?
Go on.
Go ahead.
One.
Yes, PTSD can manifest itself in many ways, and one such way is screaming in terror at the person causing said PTSD. That being said, in the context of this game, it's gone so loud and so shrill that I had to mute the video.
Yeah, did you see that move that I just did? Give me just a moment, Joe.
You broke
Go on.
elbow.
I get that, Tail, but I don't know how I did it. That's the thing. Go on.
Okay, if I remember correctly, again, like I said, the more glyphs you unlock by beating the chapters, the more combos you unlock, which also reflects on that.
I
You're
guess.
probably just button mashing at this point.
Well, the game told me
To
to.
address your,
Come on, Joe.
thing regarding the PTSD thing, Glibs, I think I get it. The audio editing seems a little shrill with Kai screaming, like to the point where you can literally hear the mic peaking.
Yeah,
And even-
I noticed that too. Not just there. In general, a couple of voice lines are suffer from that bad mixing.
Yeah.
And as for how it can border on annoying, again, the part of the issue is like, well, we have not really gotten a good look into Kai's trauma up until this point where it comes out of nowhere. And I get the feeling that, once we finally deal with the Flying Fox, assuming that's coming up quick, it will kind of just been a small section in the story. Now granted, maybe they will do more with it. That being said though, it doesn't really feel like much interesting stuff. It's just, oh, she sees the Flying Fox and screams. I'm not asking for something to be uber complex, but I feel like we could maybe get a little bit more. I guess it's just he killed and stuffed her mother, which, don't get me wrong, is a heinous thing, but it feels weird that only now we're getting this idea that she has this PTSD. It's almost as awkward as a
Not to mention-
about a PTSD in a video game I could mention, but I would rather not.
Not to mention, the game is almost over, so by this point it's just one of those things where, like, okay, I already know we're not going to go all that deep into this because the game's almost over, so
Let me
what
put it
reason
like
do I have
this,
to care?
It feels more like they added it in because they thought, oh crap, we need Kai to have some big moment in the story. It feels like they added it in at the last moment.
Okay, so this section can be a bit hard to figure out if you don't know what you're doing. Basically, you're supposed to constantly mash the button until the thing doesn't let you mash anymore, and then you have to use that shield to hit this. There you go.
You may notice because the effigy on the shield reflected the same. There you go.
3 stars, 5 stars, 10 out of 10.
There's like 3 coins.
Glyphs, that's what they are.
Remember, everybody, like the game specifically told me in the tutorial messages, if you button mash, you can recover from the attacks quicker. So button bashing can only benefit me. So yeah.
Pretty much. Again, it feels like baby's first hack and slash at its best.
Indeed.
I mean, it was Theory's first hack and slash.
True.
That it
Not to
was.
mention, if there are enemies that are that difficult to beat, is it really first material?
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, it's not. Let me put it like this: the enemies that actually are difficult to beat don't feel like they're actually difficult to beat due to actual challenge, just cheap fake difficulty.
I think it's more so the fact.
Fuck off.
I think it's more so the. Whoa, those physics.
What the heck?
The ragdoll.
Ragdoll physics.
Bounced like a rubber ball.
Ragdoll physics. You see, Joe, it turns out Bohan's books are actually made of rubber. Like.
Of course.
They're made doing the monster. What was that? There was a toy set of Mattel, I think. It was called like Monster Factory, which you could use to pour like a syrup that turns into gum. And
Oh
you
my
trade it.
god, that brings back memories.
That was
Let me
also
see
an actual health hazard, so we had to pull away from the market.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time.
It's it's more so the fact that first off, like I said before, they throw shit every single time you get into a combat arena. They throw like a crap ton, and I don't mean a crap ton of enemies at you all at once. And like Jova said, we don't have. This is not a Muso, so you don't really have moves that can easily attack multiple enemies at once. So whenever you're attacking one enemy, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to a possible enemy that might strike you from behind, possibly even without you even realizing it, because you know it might even strike from an angle where the camera doesn't show it. So
The thing is, you don't even have to be a Muso to deal with this. Kingdom Hearts 2, which is a JRPG, found quite a few ways to deal with multiple enemies, including that one infamous bout against the Thousand Heartless Army.
well, yeah, that's one of the big highlight moments of the game, in my opinion, and it's great because it's well designed and does a good job. Again, it's a set piece and it works really well.
The actual battle itself reflected the enemies that were in the cutscene.
That's fair. That's fair. That being said,
Well,
this
considering it's a PS2 game, I'm gonna cut it some
I
slack.
don't mean the quantity. I mean also remember the cutscene showcase is also a behemoth, and in the final mix also a couple of wyverns.
Sure.
Over to be seen.
Like I said,
will
it's a
say-
PS2 game, so I will cut it some slack compared to some of that stuff going.
what I'm getting at with this is, why didn't they have something like the reaction command? So, like, you don't even have to have like the exact reaction command, but I don't know, maybe like a prompt or something that allows you to deal with multiple enemies in a given situation.
Well, you can do that, but you have to accumulate 3 red dots, because if you accumulate 3 red dots, the super duper attack basically kills every enemy on screen. Thing is, obviously it takes quite a long time to grind for all 3 of those things, so I don't particularly recommend it becoming your primary strategy. Oh, there you go, see? This is one of those cases where I can skip the enemies, actually. See? So it is, as you can see, it is possible
Also,
to...
Nariko's climbing animation.
Yeah,
Sir, shall we pursue her?
yeah, so as...
No, let the gorilla move deal with her.
Yeah, basically. So as you can see, it is possible to skip enemies in certain sections when the game lets you progress.
Oh, that's cute. The orangutan.
See, did you notice that? Did you notice that? It just told me defeat all the orangutan. So now you tell me that I'm supposed to defeat all the enemies to progress. Why didn't you tell me that back when I was playing as Kai then?
It is weirdly consistent, and I don't think a game should ever be inconsistent with that.
Like
Anyway,
now,
let's fight.
yeah, it's like I said, the game overstays whatever welcome it had because it's just enemy after enemy after wave of enemies after wave of enemies, and it's all and I've fought these enemies before, and it's just like, oh god, more. Just the fighting is not interesting
say-
enough to really carry this game.
I feel like if a game is going to have you grind a bit for some of the good stuff, again, it needs to actually be fun at the base instead of making it feel
Yeah.
like work to grind to that
Oh yeah,
point.
that's basic game design. First you have to create a gameplay loop, and if the gameplay loop is inherently fun, you can repeat that said gameplay loop, it's the term gameplay loop. And of course you can occasionally throw the occasional wrench here and there, but it always boils down to that original gameplay loop. A game like, say, let me think. Okay, a game like Dragon Quest XI, that game has a fun gameplay loop because the combat is well designed, the world is fun to explore, and all that shit and all that stuff. Therefore, grinding for XP to raise your level for a tough boss is something that is inherently fine because you enjoy the game. It's all about creating a good gameplay loop.
I think another example of Sonic Frontiers, like a lot of people just get lost playing in the overworld gameplay with that, so much so that they kind of find themselves subconsciously getting enough of those cores to pretty much unlock everything in the combat system.
Well, that's kind of the whole point. I mean, you're supposed to get all the memory tokens so you can unlock all the stuff regarding whatever friend character is in that specific island that you're in. Like the stuff that unlocks your combo stuff, but that applies to you.
Well,
yeah, no, but the whole thing with the whole game loop of Sonic Frontiers is to just go around the island and do whatever challenges you come across, and that's basically the gameplay loop. Until you get enough memory tokens to get to the next bit in the story. But yeah, when it comes to the grinding for combat stuff, that honestly, by the time I got to the end of my first playthrough, I already had unlocked all of them naturally, so I never had to actually go out of my way to grind for XP. And yeah, as you can see, the door is closed. So yeah.
So in regards to this game, okay. So yeah, this game not really good. That being said, how could a reboot potentially salvage stuff?
To be perfectly honest,
I mean, at this point, Ninja Theory have just moved on.
yeah.
Well, hold on. Would it have to be Ninja Fury doing the reboot? If I recall correctly, it's Sony that owns it.
Yeah, they do, but I mean, if this was made by a different studio, it would probably be so radically different than this original
Besides,
game.
if more
That is
beloved
true, yeah.
properties like Parappa or Medieval don't get reboots or continuation, or in Dark Cloud, what chance does these have?
That's a good point. Although,
I know
to be
that,
fair, Medieval did get a remake.
And you know what I mean, though. Like it feels there's no real logic behind it, and this doesn't feel, however, like it's a high priority.
To be fair, we know.
Absolutely. Like, I don't really care for this game either, but I'm just speaking hypothetically.
That's not what I meant.
To be fair, we do. To be fair, we do know that we have a new Twisted Metal game and TV show coming. So it is. There's still that possibility of old IPs coming back.
That's not even what I meant either. I meant that again, those things that happen because those properties might have been a bit more older and they do have an established fan base and everything. This doesn't really have one, not necessarily for its quality because they do know that it has its fans, but more in a sense that it came out at the wrong time and as such has not accumulating that much people behind it in the first place.
I mean, the game nowadays. Sorry.
Like I said, that when Nariko was announced for PlayStation Salvatorial, like I did mention, that was met with positive reception, exactly because it was still a part of a fan base, for this game and everything. And
sure.
It felt more genuine as an inclusion.
See, the thing is.
I'm guessing the main. Sorry, go on, Pedro.
See, the thing is, yes, this game has a cult fan base by this point. You actually still see, if you actually look it up on YouTube, you can still see games videos up until just last year of people.
Whoa! Also, Pedro, what if I told you that you could have avoided all of this malarkey very quickly?
Oh, really?
How?
There was a cannon right next to the ladder. You actually ignored it.
Oh, really?
I noticed it. Yeah.
Well, fuck me then. Beasts of the Land. Oh, Beasts of the Land indeed. The wrong place.
Whatever that means.
More like the wrong game. Am I right? But anyway, yeah, no. There is a cult fan base that does like this game. It's just that it's a very small fan base that is not even particularly vocal. Like the Dark Cloud fan base is vocal. The Heavenly Sword fan base is not really vocal. They're just at this point you can tell that they've basically just conformed at this point. So honestly, at this point, most likely here's what happens. Like because right now there's and Jeff Grubb even mentioned this. Like there's word from people in the know that apparently Sony's working on a PS3 emulator so that they can also release that as part of the PlayStation Plus Classics lineup for the subscription services and all of that stuff. So it is possible that we'll probably still get a re-release of this game as part of that, probably, but that's as far as they'll go.
Again, like I said at the beginning, I don't mind because that's what I think what I mean. Sure, game might be frustrating and clunky, but I do believe with someone who actually dedicates to that with that much of better performance.
Oh, there you go.
It looks,
there you go. See,
still can work out.
That's the free red dot thing, super attack that basically kills everything, and you'll notice that it also killed that other guy that I wasn't attacking.
Yeah, screen nuke.
Basically, this big jump on the guy's balls thing, because girl power or some shit.
So
Well,
I'm quite.
get your balls stomped on like that would kill you.
I won't be long, Nariko. And when I have killed the little one.
But before I kill,
Didn't you kill the little one already?
but before I kill you, Mr. Bond, I will say this: I do like the actress playing Nariko. She, you can tell she's definitely trying her best, and she does have a good voice for the character. I'm glad that she's coming back for the movie at least. I mean, not everybody's coming back, but I'm glad that at the very least she's coming back.
Don't
She
you
did
mean
not
came back?
come
I thought
back.
the movie already came out.
Yeah, I know. Jennifer Hale did it in All Stars Battle Royale. I know.
Which, I mean, she's fine, but again, it's Jennifer Hale, like you said, she's the female Steve Blum who will do almost everything, so...
So, okay, does this game, like, end on, I'm guessing, enough of a closer that a sequel probably wasn't even really needed?
Well, remember, Tamine actually did have a sequel planned, but as we know, this
I
game...
can tell you that the fanbase never particularly claimed to wanting a sequel. Like, more like mostly that people will actually...
hoped that she would come to know a different world, one not born of battle and bloodshed. I swore to her then that I would always
Kind of
be
a
there for
random
her.
place to suddenly start giving backstory on Kai, but
Also,
okay.
placement for the
There are few things in
subtitles
this
a
world
bit
worth
lower
That
would have been fine.
too.
But when you find
You know what's interesting too? You'll notice that these subtitles actually have somewhat... Oh, no, wait, never mind. That's the actual background of the game. Never mind.
I'm wondering, was that like a Xenogears Disc 2 moment and they realized, oh crap, we got a fit-in story about Kai. Let's plaster some text mid-gameplay.
Possible.
I get the feeling...
Might be very
Yeah, I get the feeling Ninja Fury probably didn't plan the game the best, and they probably had to cut some content. Probably. Okay, so the idea behind this is that you have to mash the button too, so you can get the... And then you have to be really quick and throw the shield at the gong. This can be very difficult because remember, like if you're trying to throw the gong without aftertouch, because you can't use aftertouch for this one. You have to throw it like in third person. Thing is, it can be very hard because like as you see, the doors close very quickly. So you have to get it right there. You can't just even like you have to just go there, pick a thing from the chest, and try your best to aim with. And remember, there's no. There you go. See, as you can see, I just barely made it. The wrong place.
I do find it weird that suddenly there of all positions the game doesn't let you use aftertouch.
Okay, suddenly the bridge explodes.
Okay, we've got a QuickTime event to save us.
Rescue Kai. It's too late.
And Nariko dies, and that was Heavenly Sword. Oh, wait.
As to why the bridge exploded, it's because those guys are using bazookas.
Yeah, I noticed now.
Okay.
Fuck me. Jesus.
Okay, oh wait, okay, the camera was weird. At first that looks like you're supposed to go straight up, but then it shifts to the point where it looks diagonal, so which is it?
I think it's one of those things where, why can't you have the jump button as in the X button be the one for these jumps? Like, instead it's the X button to climb. It's a weird decision. But anyway.
Because, yeah.
Vibe.
There you go. Well, that was a QTE, I guess.
Now Nariko takes care of, crossing everything. Also, that was not foreshadowing at all.
Okay, if I may, the big problem I have with these villains' idiocy is that I feel like it takes away from the stakes of the story. Like, sure, we could be worried of what might happen to Kai, but the villain has shown that he is so stupid enough that of course he's gonna let her live. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what eventually gets him killed, like almost every other villain so far that's died. Which, okay, to be fair, has only been the female general, but I'm just saying, the bad guys have been unbelievably stupid.
Yeah.
They just seem to be very, very overly confident in themselves and prefer torture rather than straight up killing. They lack pragmatism.
So remind me.
The problem with that is, like, well, it gets to the point where the problem that I have with that is that it takes away from the stakes, essentially. Like, we pretty much know that our heroines are at least going to live long enough to make an impact so that, the bad guys will eventually lose in the story because the bad guys keep giving them the chance to.
Remind me, Theo, when was the exact point that you gave up because of the six
I'll
axis?
tell you, don't worry.
Oh, is it like this up?
To that point?
It's coming, don't worry.
Oh, really?
Because we're getting
No. There's a very specific context about it, trust me.
Alright, sure.
Oh my god, was it like near the tail end of the game, I wonder?
Again, just don't worry, you'll see. Again, but you're correct that we're also so close at the end of the game. If I knew, I probably should have just persevered on that too. But you have to understand the context. Again, I was basically marathoning for this game and I was not having a good time, and it was already a very stressful day. So you can imagine
I totally get it.
And then for the record, just to set up for the audience, hopefully you might see this in the future as well, I'm the person who did the stupid thing of trying to beat in Ghosts and Goblins on one night on Halloween, and then tried again for the sequels each respective, consecutive years. So I'm kind of normally used to this kind of thing, but this game was kind of something.
Tempo
I
Wilds.
absolutely get it. Like, this game does not really look that fun to play. Oh, there you are.
Jesus, the broom. What's with the Vaseline? Jesus.
Nariko, they're just in time.
Well, you guys
Yeah.
we should get on with it.
I don't buy it. I don't buy that she's dead yet. There's no way that they would have Kai and give us that backstory just to kill her off. Like, that would be just an utter crap out of writing, even
Hey,
by the
that
story
rhymes.
standards.
Oh, it's personal.
Okay, so we go from her looking worried to suddenly that awkward cut.
What, no cuties? Come on.
I'm so
I'm
disappointed.
actually kind of... we needed a cutscene just to show her getting into the cage.
Of course, Joe. Otherwise, you might assume that she teleported in the cage. I mean, how else are you supposed to know?
I always find it awkward whenever games have to load a cutscene just to do an action, only to then go literally right back.
All right, so Flying Fox is an annoying as shit boss. He is annoying as fuck. Okay.
Goody. Now we can
Try
fly
countering.
out of our range.
So the idea is that you're supposed, as the game just put, you try countering Flying Fox's attacks. Okay. Thing is, okay, by countering you mean what? Not do anything? Because remember, the game taught me that in order to defend and block, I need to just not press anything. But not pressing anything doesn't block those things. So, through experimentation off screen, I found out that you can actually avoid getting damaged by his projectiles by dodge rolling at the right time. Like so. Thing is, it doesn't... there you go, see?
Wait,
Yep.
and that counters
Remember,
it?
remember the colors. You're supposed to have the correct stance. When it's blue, it's the normal one. When it's orange, the power one. When it's red, you have to avoid it because it's unblockable.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird, which again is weird too, because the bigger projectile, instead of being red, which the game taught me was the color of, you need to dodge because it's unblockable, is red, but yet they make the projectile orange, which is confusing
You're
as all.
supposed to use the power stance on that.
Is it?
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't. Wait, the power stance.
The traditional two-hand form.
No, I know what it is, but did the game ever tell me that you can use the power stance to block specific projectiles?
The beginning tutorial, Pedro.
I'm honestly, I'm gonna be
I don't
honest.
blame you because again, arriving at this point of the game, you might have forgot a few things.
Yeah, if that was the case, I totally forgot.
That's also the point where I want to make. This game stressed me beyond belief and I rage quit, but that's why, despite, I want to be fair on that, despite that, because that was a problem of me and not necessarily the game.
Sure.
Okay, here's my take on it.
Go
To
on.
be fair, the game does tell you this. That being said, to also be fair, the game doesn't really ask of you to use these techniques much.
No.
So it can be very weird when that mechanic suddenly becomes crucial at a much, much later point in the game when you have, by all good reason, forgotten about it.
I can think of something as well, because even the Brain Scratch Com's commentary of that game, they even talked about that as well. In Sonic 4
It
episode.
did Heavenly Sword. Oh wait, no.
No, for Sonic 4 episode 2. Okay, the special stages of that game. When you first play the first special stage, it tells you a little tutorial message saying the controls and shit, and it tells you, you can also press square to boost and go faster. However, the first 6 special stages of that game do not at all require in fact, the stages don't even seem to be designed with that in mind, because you can basically go those stages really well without even thinking about boosting at all. And then suddenly, when you get to the 7 special stages, suddenly the boost becomes literally required to complete the special stage, because there's a specific sequence where you have to get a shit ton of rings, and you have to do it again before the time runs out. Thing is, like they mentioned in their playthrough, by that point I genuinely forgot about it because the game hasn't really encouraged me to use it, so I'm not kidding, I genuinely forgot about it.
My
Well-
guess is that the game expects you to at least try it out a few times during the playthrough.
I guess it's just
Again, it's a problem when the game does not really require you to use it. Like, I will say this about Mighty Number 9. Despite the many problems I have with this game, at the very least, even they realized how very specific the crouch dash would be, to the point where they at least give you the hint to use it in those few places where you need to use it, even if you've forgotten about it. Now, granted, that doesn't change the fact that the crouch dash works very horribly, but at least they did figure that, hey, we don't really ask the players to use this a lot, so chances are they'll forget about it. They at least gave a reminder there. I do feel like a game should take that into regards.
I think it, here's an example. Like it's something like Super Mario 64, where those billboards teach you how to use the controls, do the long jump, how to do the triple jump, the wall jump, so on and so forth. One cool thing that the game also does is that when you get to a specific section in a level that might require something like, they actually sometimes will Go, I don't care about you.
To kill you during our first little dalliance, Nariko.
What a disguised delivery as well.
I know, right?
I guess they told the actor sound incredibly kooky?
Yeah.
I really don't know if...
Honestly, during the first time I was playing the game, I was wondering if people were gonna pull a Kefka and have this guy betray Bohan, but no.
Honestly, I will say this, despite my issues with the
Yeah, okay,
blind
here we
box,
go.
it does feel like... Oh, goody, clones. It feels like he has more presence than Bohan, honestly, as an antagonistic figure.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my problem with this boss in general. Yeah. Notice how there's vases of health, except there's one in the actual platform, but you'll notice there's also ones that are in the bars far away from me, which is kind of weird because how do I exactly attack those?
Countering the projectiles.
But didn't I counter them properly though?
Nope. You
Yeah.
just basically avoided them.
I guess.
The idea is to counter the projectile so when it bounces back on Fox, but there is a possibility we also get directed and lock on instead on the bases. So.
Okay. See, the thing is, Theo, like, dodge rolling brings them back to him, so I kind of... Was that...
No, because they have an arc trajectory. What you do in dodging is to get away from the area where they circle around.
Interesting. But yeah, that being said, this guy also creates clones of himself, which is also annoying. Yeah. There you go, see? Fortunate, but it's okay though, right? It's only 3 at a time, and they go down reasonably quick, so not too big of a problem, right? Well, just you wait. Well, I actually forgot, like, is there any actual major aftertouch sequence after this? Because I don't know. I'm trying to guess in my head what was Theo's breaking point.
Just wait, be patient.
I know. I'm just trying to see if I can guess. Like I'm trying to think if I'm trying to see if I can remember. Okay, is there any major aftertouch requirement sequence after this? Oh, and there you go. More. Oh God, like. Come here and fight me like a man.
They don't stop coming.
Yeah, basically. Dear Lord.
You know, I will say this. Even knowing how to properly beat this boss, it doesn't really look that intuitive to fight.
It's more so. One thing that I really dislike in particular is. I feel like a lock-on feature probably would have also helped. If you're not going to actually allow me to move the camera, at least give me some kind of lock-on feature where I can cycle between each individual enemy or some shit.
Like I said, it feels like the true boss is the camera.
I really don't like the way this game handles camera. I really don't. I mean, see, God of War also has fixed angles, but God of War actually feels like it's actually designed with that in mind. This game...
Yeah, God of War classic games knew how to center properly the camera on Kratos, or if they needed to pad out onto, the landscape or wherever Kratos was.
Yeah, this game on the other hand has a lot of times where I can definitely tell you that I could really use an analog camera right now.
Yeah, like he said, I mentioned that in one of the previous parts. This screams, first attempts from the studio, early on in development. Nothing more, nothing less.
It really does make you wonder if they actually play tested it though, because
probably not.
Holy
considering
cow.
It was supposed to be released on the launch window of PS3.
That
many of their other bouts, I am sure Ninja Fury tried. Trying is not all that goes into actually getting a successful result.
hopefully Hellblade 2 will deliver.
We'll see. Like I said, I think Escape Enslaved Odyssey to the West's combat is more fun than this.
My bigger problem with Senua's Sacrifice was the puzzles, for the puzzle design.
To my favorite part.
What, the part where you die?
No, last
What the
Hellfire.
hell? What?
What's this character's name again? Sorry.
Flying Fox.
Flying Fox.
Blindfox.exe is encountered the problem.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Oh my god.
Apologize for any inconvenience.
I just...
Like, did the voice actor just kind of go into conniptions there?
I'm honestly convinced that he busted a nut during that bit.
But yeah, this looks annoying.
Okay, so yeah, once again, as always, yet another section where the game throws a shit ton of enemies at me, and they all come at me at once, which means, of course, that it's very easy for me to get surrounded. So basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure I can try to catch one of them separately, like so, and see if I can take them down. Fuck. Jesus Christ, this is still going. Oh.
Again, the slow, sluggish nature of the game does not help the pace of these boss fights.
It's because
Also,
it's like this. It's the boss battles. It's the gondola sequence we had in the previous part. Everything in this game overstays its welcome. Like it just goes on and on and on and on. Go on too.
Again, it's a bit where it seems cool at first, but quickly wears out its welcome.
Go on too.
oh, sorry. You're still doing well enough to have at least 2 glyphs out of 3 for the time being.
Oh no, sure. I do beat this. It's just that.
No, not necessarily beat it, but not beat all of the minimal similar to the fight with the Oranguman that you had a couple of rounds ago.
Sure. Almost done. Okay, and somehow.
Hey, look at that! Kai's alive!
So is Kai's neck made out of titanium?
It's like that kid from Internet Story, and I used that anti-rope cream.
And by the way,
And this is the point where I actually quit the game, because
I forgot about that.
Up the shooting, and that counts as an insta-kill, and you have to restart at least.
Oh wait, it does?
Well, yeah, so I was like, fuck that.
I'm not even kidding. What you just saw right now was my first time doing that little shot right now, and I didn't fail, so I just went through.
Wow.
You're telling me you're telling me that if I missed that shot, I would have to restart the boss from the beginning?
No, at least from the 3rd round.
Oh, okay.
But I was so stressed at that point, and I was so pissed off at the shooting control, but I was like, fuck this, no more. I will do it another time, and then never again.
Yeah, what Taylor said, and second, again. Okay, at first I was thinking, okay, I'm guessing that's her final thing before she dies, but then she still dies because of the hanging. But no, Kai, believe it or not, survives this, and don't worry, the game's about to explain to you that she's alive. She's just unconscious. So Nariko just survived being hanged. Like, is her neck?
Kai did.
Sorry, Kai. So is her neck made of titanium? Like,
remember, she supposedly used that hand to prevent the neck to be gone wrong, but you still have a point where the initial, force of her being dropped down should have broke her neck.
yeah.
It should have. But yeah, well, I guess at least you technically play as Kai, killing flying
She will survive these injuries.
Yes.
How do you know that? Are you a doctor, Shen?
That is why I...
Reminds me
Maybe
of
he's
the ending
village
of
medic?
Reminds me the end of Freddy Got Finger, where they had to add the disclaimer of a kid saying, "Don't worry, I'm fine."
Dear lord, it's not even just Nariko. Shen's hair is alive too. Seriously.
I know, right?
Again, like I said, in hindsight, it was foolish of me because I really was that close to the end of the game that I might as well should have preserved. But again, the combination of stress and not understanding the potential, easing up on the shooting controls and everything, that was just too much at that point.
Honestly, I get your stance though. Like, if a game ain't doing it for you at that point, it is probably better to put it down.
Like I said, well, I did mention sporadically, but it was also the point before I started taking a bit more seriously, trying to, getting a bit better.
All right, so at this point, we're okay. We're officially new territory for Teo, even.
Well, I know how the game ends. Don't worry.
Okay.
Like, it was still past a couple of years anyway. Hi.
Vengeance.
Yes.
I sentenced them all to death.
It's like
That's very interesting, honey.
The way this is framed, it looks like she's recording a vlog, like one of those vlogs where someone is like really sad or some shit. In fact, this is basically. In fact, here's my headcanon. These bits are actually vlogs that Nariko is recording.
My God, her hair was trying to strangle her for a bit there.
Hello, my name is Nariko.
One last claw emerging.
And welcome to my vlog series, Heavenly Vlogs.
Chapter 5 only has, as you can see, 4 missions. So yeah, quite the departure.
The end is in sight.
So the end is in sight. That being said, don't think we're out of the woods yet, because the final boss is annoying as shit.
So I just want to reiterate that again. The only reason the Flying Fox died was because despite having chance after chance after chance to kill Kai, he refused, which not only allowed Kai to get back Nariko the Heavenly Sword, but ended in his death by Kai, and I guess that's Kai's arc now dealt with.
Indeed. All right, everybody. See you for the ending.
The epic conclusion. See ya.